What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about pajamas today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely feeling the heat, feeling the pain a little bit with pajamas here. My first purchase was down in this area, a little bit lower than the current price, and I definitely made a few purchases up in this area. This look, man, from the low to a high, holding the 236 several times like that, I'm surprised that it did not break to the upside. The daily RSI was looking so good. Yeah, you had bearish divergence, but you did, but not really. And anytime you got below the 50, you just got right back above it, even above the 60. It was nice to see. It looked really good. Unfortunately, the whole market took a dump, and low cap coins like this, they tend to get hit the hardest. So that's just kind of the way it goes. Welcome to crypto. I do think that we're going to go a little bit lower, down to this 618 area, which is at about 2045. We're at 2056 right now, so like 0.0056. We're probably going to go down to 0.0045 thereabouts. We could go lower. We could even go as low as 0.003536, something like that, around the support zone of this. But just a little bit lower. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If we take this relative low here to the relative high, you've got your 1272 to your 1618 of this relative move right in this range that we're looking for. So I think that's where we will find support. The daily RSI looks disgusting. It actually looks very, very bad. So lower makes sense to me. It's when you look your worst that you're about to go green, right? It's when you look your best that you're about to go red. But it's hard to tell when that actual flip is going to happen, right? That's when you kind of use shorter term time frames, and I guess we can look at that right now. The 4-hour looks very bearish as well. So at any rate, the main point of this video, actually, what inspired me to make this video today was something that Mark Blackfox told me. And I've been in crypto, you guys, since 2015. I've been heavily involved doing technical analysis since 2017. So, I've been in it for a while, and to my knowledge, this was a big no-no. But and you're like, what is this? I haven't said it yet. I'm about to tell you. Is that wash trading, right? For those of you that know what wash trading or don't know what wash trading is, you can look it up, but I'll tell you, sometimes words, whenever you look up a definition, like it's the proper definition, it is what it means, but it can be hard to like piece those words together, right? Like what I'm trying to say, wash trading, for those of you that don't know, is simply this, right? And this again, this was something that, to my knowledge, was not allowed in crypto. Crypto was unregulated. It's still largely unregulated, so there was a lot of unknowns. So we just essentially treated it like stocks. That was essentially the name of the game. And with wash trading, the way it works is, like, let's say you buy up here, right, at the very top, and you take all these losses, and you decide now, you're like, okay, I want to sell, I want to claim these losses, because when you claim gains, you have to pay taxes on it, right? When you claim gains, you have to pay taxes. Whenever you claim a loss, those losses can be deducted from your capital gains, not just on this asset, but on any asset, right? And the reason that I'm saying this is because I know I bought a lot up here of pajamas, and I advocated for the buy a lot up here. None of it's financial advice. I'm not telling anybody what to do. Oftentimes I did say, don't put all your money in here, right? And I definitely didn't put all my money. It sucks seeing it go down, but it's not like the largest position, right, that I have. So it's nothing that's going to hurt me in the long run. Even if it did go to zero, I don't think it will. I do think we will see new all-time highs. But the point that I'm alluding to here is that if you sell, you can claim losses, and that can offset gains tax, right? Like if you have $500 of losses here, and then on another asset you had $500 worth of gains, well, those losses will actually offset the taxes that you have to pay on those $500 worth of gains. The only caveat to that, the only catch-22 trick to that, right, is that if you sell down here, you have to wait 30 calendar days. It might be 30 or 31. I forget. I think it might be 30 calendar days before. Maybe perhaps you do have to wait 31 on the 31st day you can buy. I don't remember, but it's like 30 or 31. I always wait like a day after just to be safe. You have to wait before you buy back in, right? So if you bought up here, you sell down here, you can't buy back until 30 days later, I'm fairly positive, if you want to claim the losses. If you buy up here and you sell down here and then you buy back the next minute or the next day, that's called a wash trade, where you're doing it to claim the taxes, but technically you're not allowed, or claim the losses for your taxes, but you're not allowed to actually claim those losses because you didn't wait the full 30 days. And that's for securities. To my knowledge, that's a thing in stocks, right? Crypto is obviously not stocks. And well, I looked this up, and again, shout out to Mark Blackfox for sharing this information with me. But I looked up in all caps, for whatever reason I had it in all caps. Does the wash trading rule apply to crypto? Because to my knowledge it did. For a long time it did. but maybe the XRP case changed that, or maybe this happened beforehand and I don't know. But the IRS wash rule does not apply to cryptocurrency because it considers virtual currency to be property rather than securities. This is from tokentax.co, right? I think it's a pretty reputable source. If you don't believe me, TurboTax itself says, what is the wash sale rule for cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is exempt from wash sale rules, right? Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. But hey, these are all CoinLedger, right? These it says the same thing all over here. And at the time of writing on, I didn't mean to click on that. At the time of writing for a lot of these were all made this year, and this one specifically was made on the 1st of July. It's the 10th for me now. It's the 11th on the charts, right? Might be the 11th for a lot of you or the 10th for a lot of you, but this isn't something that's old, right? So it's not old information. This is up-to-date information as far as I know. So essentially what I'm saying is you could sell right now, claim your losses, and buy right back, and you still have those losses claimed, right? So if you're like me, and this is my plan, right? I bought my first bit of pajamas down here. I bought more up in like this area. I forget where exactly, and I know I bought like the top. I bought like this most recent top because I really thought that we were going to break through it. And then I think I bought more down here. I'm not 100% sure. I forget. But if you've got losses that you could claim, right, I think it's advantageous to do that. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and certainly I'm not trying to break any tax codes or anything like that, advising anybody to avoid taxes. I just want to help you legally avoid paying the maximum amount of taxes that you can legally. And to my knowledge, this is completely legal. Look it up for yourself. If you don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it, but this is something I'm going to do. I'm going to sell all of my pajamas right after this video, and I'm going to buy it back. I'm just going to buy it right back. That way I can sell it down here. Again, I don't have a substantial amount. It might be substantial to some people, but for the overall market cap of this, it's not substantial. It's not going to tank the price. I'm just going to sell it, buy it right back. That way, if it goes up, I can claim the gains and also claim the losses. It'll offset. Now, here's something that you have to think about, okay? So let's go back and say that you bought all the way up here, okay? If you sell down here and then you buy back, now you have to pay, right? There's taxes, there's capital gains tax that'll apply on the gains that you make back. That might not sound worth it, right? That might not sound worth it, but I promise you, if the math actually checks out, it's worth it. We're going to use very round numbers here, okay? And I think this is smart. This is advantageous to anybody who has losses to take advantage of this while it's still in effect. I'm sure the IRS will fix this. I think they did this intentionally. I think this actually became a thing intentionally to give some people who have a lot of money some little cheat codes to having their taxes like diminished, right? Or like what they owe in taxes diminished. It's just a theory. I think the IRS is very calculated. I don't think they would do something that would help the public. They're doing it probably to help themselves or help their whoever's telling them what to do that has a lot of money that's probably invested in crypto. I don't know. It's just my theory, right? I don't think they did this out of the kindness of their hearts to throw us a bone. I think there's probably a purpose behind this that's meant to help the people who are literally at the top, right? But beyond all the conspiracy thoughts right there, right? The math checks out where it would be advantageous to sell and buy back. Even though you would have to technically pay gains tax on the gains here, there would be applied gains tax there. The overall losses that you would claim would offset those gains, and then you would even actually be able to see more gains than where you bought originally and still have those losses applied to offset. I'm going to use basic numbers. We're going to do a little bit of math to do this, okay? And first and foremost, I actually want to say, let's see, what are the current, let's see, 2024 tax brackets. Let's do that. 2024 tax brackets. And this is for America, right? It's not going to be the same for Germany. I was actually looking up German tax code the other day because I was curious. I'm like, is this why Germany sold all their coins and then bought back? For one, they're the government, though. It was the German government, so they might not have to pay taxes. I'm not familiar, but for Germans, it's not this way. This is only for United States citizens, right, or people trading in the U.S. 24% here, married, filed jointly, single, whatever, right? If this is your total income, 24%. I feel like there would be more. It says 3 more rows. Let's see. I feel like there's larger tax that you'd have to pay than just 24%. I want to look. Let's see. Yeah, okay, 37%. I thought so. I thought it got up to 40%. Plus, you have state taxes and stuff like that, unless you live in Florida, or I think there might be a couple other states that do that too. But let's round up and say 40%. Let's pretend like you have to pay the largest amount of taxes, right? That way, if you have to pay anything, even the smallest amount, this will be a pessimistic outlook, and it'll be even better than what I'm making it to be. But let's use the worst outlook, right? A 40% tax, even larger than that. But we're gonna, if you include state tax, like where I live in Colorado, I think it's 8% state tax or 10. I forget what it is, but you would essentially be paying closer to 50% than you would 40%. But we're just gonna say 40%, okay? And we're going to do Google Calculator to just keep all the math on the screen, right? Let's say we do $100, right? You can even act like it's $1 million, right? Because $100 is not going to activate that 40%. Let's pretend it's $1 million, but I'm going to do 100 just to keep it easy, so I don't have to put a bunch of zeros in there. $100, all right. You take a loss, and you've got you claim your loss. You have $50, right? You take a $50 loss. You take a 50% loss. Now you have $50 left. You sell here, okay? You sell here and you buy right back. So you claim your $50 loss. You claim your 50% loss. And you buy right back, you have the same exact amount. That's probably not going to happen, right? If you sell and then buy back, you probably won't buy back at the exact amount. Maybe it's a little bit lower, maybe it's a little bit higher, whatever. But $50, okay? So you got your $50 in there now. Now when it goes up back again to $100, right? Oops. Back to $100, you get $50 in gains, right? Because you sold when you lost $50, you bought back to make it back to $100. Now you have $50 in gains. So you would have to actually pay. And again, we're applying the hardest tax to that, right? About a 40% tax. And again, depending on where you are, it'd actually be higher. I think California and New York would charge you way more. You'd have to pay $20 on that $50. Again, you don't have to pay 40% tax on that whole 100. It's just the gains that you pay that you made, right? So you sold at a $50 loss, so you had $50 left. You bought back. It goes back to where you bought, which is 100. That's your total value. You gained $50, you have to pay 40% tax on that, which is only $20. However, you have a total of a $50 loss, right? So because you claimed the losses, now you're back to break even, and you have $50 of losses to claim to offset this 20. So now your $50 minus $20 that you had to pay in taxes, right? Because the $50 in gains that you had is what that is. $20 in taxes you had to pay on those gains. This is how much you have left from your original claimed losses, okay? So it can go up another $50. It can go up a complete another $50, and you would again have to pay another $20. So 100 to 150 now is what that is. You would still you would have 50% gains on your original position that you had all the way at the top, right? And 50% gains from there. Because you sold and you bought back here, you would actually still, even after 50% gains, you would still have roughly 20%, exactly 20% of your overall losses that you could still incorporate into your gains, right? Let's say it does a 10x, a 30x, a 100x. Of course, your losses are not going to nullify all of your gains, but it'll nullify some of them, right? It'll nullify some of them, and it's better, in my opinion, to nickel and dime the tax guys where you can, because they're going to nickel and dime you. They're going to dime and quarter you, right? They're going to dollar and $5 you. It's take advantage of it while you can, where you can. It does. The math checks out. It's very worth it. And I mean, I've known this for a long time, right? Like this isn't news to me. I just didn't know that we could do wash trading legally in crypto. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm not trying to mislead people. Do your own research. If you're not comfortable with it, if it sounds too good to be true, it sounds too good to be true to me. But I mean, literally, you got TurboTax saying this. Like, if I get in trouble, I'm gonna sue. You know, I don't know. I don't think I would get in trouble. I don't want to sue anybody, but man, if I got in trouble, I would literally be like, these guys told me. And there actually are things specifically with taxes, at least in America, where you do have tax forgiveness if it was like negligence, like you just didn't know, like they do actually forgive. I forget what the exact rule is, but they're not, they probably won't come at you if you're trying, if you really are trying your best to just do it completely legally. And I really do encourage people to pay their taxes legally, but this is a good way to avoid paying more taxes than you would need to in a legal fashion, right? If you've got losses like me, overall, even though I bought here, right, I can sell, claim those losses, and then those will be applied even past the neutral point. I hope that all makes sense. I did the TA first because I felt like that last part was a little bit maybe a little bit hard to follow. I know math and numbers can be a bit hard to follow. But essentially, if you sold a 50% loss, and I don't know, I mean, obviously we have greater than 50% loss. It depends on where you bought, but let's say you bought at the bottom of this range. At the current price, you've got a 65% loss. So you've got more losses to claim than what I allotted here. Let's say we did that, right? 100 minus 65 gives you this, right? This is what you have. To get back to that 100, you're going to have to do, what is that? That's 65, obviously. 65 times 0.4. You have to pay taxes on that. That's $26. That's a 65 minus 26. Now you're back at break even. Now you actually have even more. Originally from the 100 to 50, you had 30. Now you have 39. To get rid of that completely, I think you'd need to see something like would it be a full 200% gain? Would it be, let's see, 100? It would be a near 200% gain. You would basically, if you claim the losses right now, if you bought even at the bottom, let alone if you bought higher, you could see a full 100% gain on your initial investment. Again, let me say this very clearly. If you bought at the base of this range, at the best time to buy of this whole range, and you sold right now and bought back, you could essentially double your money from your initial investment. It could go up a full 100%, and that would be completely tax-free because you claimed the losses. You see what I mean? Like this is it's a big deal. Shout out to Mark Blackfox, using the aliases, right? We're not going to actually throw the last name in there in case that comes back to you too, my man. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bridge, but yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a big deal. I'm going to take advantage of it while I can because it's legal, so I'm going to do that. I think anybody and everybody who has losses, not just in Pajamas, but any crypto, I think this rule is something that we should all be taking advantage of while it lasts, and it's very essential. It's very, very, very essential to get back in. Okay, get back in. You don't want to sell, have the losses, and then miss the party train that you were trying to get all this time. Now, here's one thing that I will say. I probably should have said this in the beginning. I hope nobody's who's seen this whole video up until this point just stopped watching at this point because this is important. If you're trying to go for long-term capital gains, let's say this is something, right? I just bought Pajamas recently, like the most recent, it was in March of 2024. I hold cryptos, plenty of cryptos that I bought over a year ago now, right? I'm not selling to the end of the cycle. I'm not trying to claim losses on them because I want to claim long-term capital gains, right? That's what I want to do. I think the end of the cycle is going to be in October or around there of 2025. That's still over a year from now, but I could be wrong. It could be March of 2025. It could be May. It could be June. It could be July. I don't know when it's going to be exactly. I believe it's going to be in October, but as a safe play in that to lower the risk, I'm not going to play that with my long-term plays, right? This was my meme coin plays. They've always been meant to be a short-term play, right? So I think if you've got coins that you're trying to hit long-term capital gains with, if it's a more solid amount, a larger amount, maybe don't mess with that, right? If they're more recent purchases that you've made this year within the past 6 months, if you want to weigh the benefits of potentially doing that or not, as far as like paying capital gains goes versus your losses, go ahead and do that. Do that math yourself. Like, would it be worth it more to claim the losses now and then have to pay short-term capital gains eventually on the gains that I could see? Or would it be worth it more to just hold and not have to pay short-term capital gains, but end up paying long-term capital gains? Because long-term capital gains, I'm pretty sure, are 25%. This is all off of 40% tax. 25% is a huge discount in comparison. I forget. Let's actually look what long-term capital gains. Long-term capital gains tax, yeah. 20%. 20%, even better. I thought it was 25. I know it changes sometimes, but yeah, 20. Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, there are plenty of positions that I've been holding for a long time that I'm not going to sell, right? And actually, the ones that I've been holding for a long time, they're actually still in the green, so I wouldn't even actually have losses to claim, right? So, but any recent purchases for anybody, weigh the math, do it, do it yourself, see if it works, if it makes sense for you to claim these. I do think that even buying today, you will be able to claim long-term capital gains over a year from now by the time the cycle tops off. Not every crypto tops off at the same time, but the majority of them will top off around the time that Bitcoin tops off. Some top off before, some top off after, some top off right in the same exact week. It just depends. But I'm not going to play that game with like my Bitcoin Cash position, for example, or my Mana or my Blue Zell, things that I've been holding for a long time, right? I'm not going to play that. Any shorter term, more recent purchases that I've made, yeah, I would. I'm absolutely going to take advantage of that. Pajamas won't be the only one, but here I am talking about myself so much. I think it's a good thing to do. I'm going to do it. So I really think it just makes a whole lot of sense. So take advantage of it, right? You can literally get back to break even, cash out at break even, and then still have deductible taxes across the board for your other assets. It might not be everything, right? Because I'm talking about Pajamas is one of my smaller positions out of my whole portfolio, but it's something. It's something, and I'll take something where I can get it. I don't know. That to me, that is advantageous. So hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. This video went on way longer than I